Not long ago, something incredible happened. A volley of ballistic missiles punched right through a $20 billion air defense network, supposedly the most advanced shield ever built, and they slammed into the economic heart of Israel, Tel Aviv. So let's break down exactly how they pulled this off.
And this quote, man, it really gets to the heart of it. For years, the world was told the shield was basically impenetrable, but that whole assumption was just shattered by a very calculated strike, one that was designed for maximum economic and, psychological damage, not just physical destruction.
And just so we're all clear on the scale here, we're not talking about a simple fence. This is a multi-layered system. You've got the Iron Dome, David's Sling, the Aero defense systems, all heavily funded by the United States. It was sold as the ultimate security blanket, and it was breached.
Okay, so first things first, let's unpack the event itself. This wasn't just some random shot in the dark. The target was Tel Aviv, the absolute financial engine of the country, processing a staggering 70% of Israel's entire GDP.
Which, of course, brings us to the billion-dollar question, or in this case, the $20 billion question that we're going to answer. How in the world did this happen? It's a fascinating story of advanced tech, clever economics, and a very, very deliberate military strategy.
To really get the how, you first have to understand the what, and the weapon they used was this thing, the K-Bar Shekin 3. Now this is not some crude, old-school Scud missile. This is a sophisticated third-generation precision weapon.
Just look at the combination of factors here. An 1,800-kilometer range means all of Israel is easily within reach, and that warhead, it can level a city block. But the real game changers, the things that made this possible, are the fuel type and that insane velocity. Let's dig into those.
You see, using solid fuel changes everything. The older liquid fuel missiles, they take hours to get ready out in the open, which gives your enemy a huge window to find and destroy them. But these solid fuel missiles, they can be hidden on launchers that look just like regular commercial trucks, ready to fire in less than 10 minutes. It's simple. You just can't hit what you can't find.
And here's the kicker, the final piece of the tech puzzle. As this warhead is plummeting towards its target at over 2 kilometers per second, it can actually change course. It can jink and weave. This forces the defense systems to frantically recalculate over and over, and in a game that's all about seconds, any tiny delay, any miscalculation means that warhead gets through.
So we've seen the tech, but let's look at how that fits into the much bigger picture. Because this wasn't just about military superiority, it was about economics. This was a strategy of financial warfare. I mean, just look at this difference. It's absolutely staggering. Each Iranian missile costs maybe $400,000 to make, but to stop just one of them, Israel has to launch an Arrow 3 interceptor that costs around $3 million. That is a brutal, brutal cost exchange if you're the one on defense.
And when you zoom out and look at the whole wave of missiles, the math gets even crazier. It's estimated Iran spent about $6 million on the missiles for this one attack. To counter it, Israel probably burned through something like $40 million in interceptors. That's a 7-to-1 cost ratio that favors the attacker. I mean, how long can any country afford to keep that up?
So what did all this actually achieve on the ground? Well, this is where the attack went from being just a military event to a full-blown economic crisis. One hit in particular was just devastatingly effective.
Let that sink in for a second. For the first time ever, not during the 2006 Lebanon War, not during any of the Gaza conflicts, the entire national rail system ground to a complete halt. This wasn't a local problem. It was total nationwide paralysis.
So why is that one rail hub such a big deal? Because the Tel Aviv hub isn't just a station. It's the country's logistical heart. It handles 60% of all passenger traffic and a critical 40% of freight. You damage this one node and the whole system just fractures.
And the direct financial hit is immediate. Every single day the railway stays down, it costs the Israeli economy an estimated $5.5 million. And believe me, that's just the start.
You see, a railway isn't just for moving people. The shutdown triggers this immediate cascade of failures across the supply chain. It's responsible for 90% of the country's imported grain. It moves temperature-sensitive medicines for a $7 billion drug industry, and it carries components for the tech sector, which is 18% of the country's GDP. So this one event threatens everything from food on the table to global tech exports.
Okay, so let's bring it all together. We've got the advanced missile, we've got the strategic target. Now let's look at the 3 specific reasons why that $20 billion shield couldn't guarantee 100% protection.
It really boils down to these 3 things. First, volume. Iran didn't just launch one missile, they fired a whole salvo of 12 to 15 at once. The goal is to saturate the defenses, to throw more baseballs than the catcher has mitts. Second, like we saw, those maneuverable warheads make it incredibly hard to get a lock. And third, and this is so crucial, real-world combat is messy. It's not a controlled test. Even if your system has a 90% success rate, well, in a volley of 15 missiles, that still means 1 or 2 are likely to get through. And as we saw, 1 is all it takes.
And this all brings us to the chilling strategic logic behind the whole attack. This was never a military strike designed to take out Israeli defenses. No, this was an economic strike, designed to prove a terrifying point, that trying to run a modern economy in Tel Aviv is becoming an unsustainable risk.
At the end of the day, the message was crystal clear. If they can shut down the entire railway system today, what could they hit tomorrow? The power grid? Water treatment plants? The country's main shipping port? Suddenly, every single piece of critical infrastructure is a potential target.
And that leaves us with the one question that has to be keeping defense planners in Tel Aviv awake at night. If every single defensive action costs you 7 times more than the attack itself, and just one successful hit can cause millions in daily economic damage, how long can you afford to keep playing that game? It's a brutal, brutal calculation with no easy answer.